Welcome to Audit Archive, where we run you through some of the most questionable and rather atrocious police encounters. Today, we're looking at a few incidents where police officers act like complete tyrants and refuse to carry out their lawful duties. Starting off, let's take a look at this unbelievable incident that just makes you wonder how some officers end up being recruited. These officers approached an innocent man who had done absolutely nothing illegal and was simply standing on public property. They claimed that someone had called 911 about him for vagrancy, and that was why they were speaking to him. The officers couldn't stand a man minding his own business, so they started harassing him and demanding his ID, and later threatened him by stating that he would otherwise go to jail.
How you doing, man? You got some ID on me?
Good morning, gentlemen. God bless our homeless veterans.
Yep, I'm a vet too, man.
All right, cool.
Air Force.
All right.
You got your ID on you?
What for?
Vagrancy.
Vagrancy?
Yes, sir. Got several complaints on here. You're begging for food, money, stuff like that.
That's not true.
Okay, well, I'm just out here for that reason.
Okay.
So, do you have your ID on you?
Am I required to give you ID?
Yes, you are.
What happened if I don't give it to you?
You're going to jail. Period.
Really?
Yeah, really.
Sir, I'm standing on a public sidewalk engaged in constitutionally protected
Correct.
activity.
Correct. But I'm letting you know you're going to go to jail, no questions asked.
Even if I'm standing on a public
Yes,
sidewalk?
yes. How many times do I got to explain it to you?
So if I don't give you ID, I'm
Yes,
going to
you're
jail.
going to jail for failure to identify.
Can I just leave?
If you wish to do so, but I need to identify you.
I don't wish to do so. I'd like to stay here. And
You're not going to stay here, period. I'm going to let you know.
Do I have to leave?
Yes,
Why?
because I'm instructing you. I'm giving you a lawful order to leave.
And if I don't leave,
You're going to jail
I'll go to jail.
for
And
failure.
your Officer Sergeant Joffrey in?
Sergeant Joffrey, Officer Anderson.
All right. Y'all have a good day.
You got your ID with you?
So if I don't leave, I'll go to jail.
As seen in the footage, one of the officers was a sergeant, which just made this ordeal that much more outrageous. The sergeant claimed that the man was not allowed to stand on public property and must leave just because he said so. Then, the man rightfully decided to walk off since he was clearly not lawfully detained at all. However, the officers continued to demand his ID, and the sergeant quite blatantly stated that he didn't care about the man's constitutional rights. It made no sense as to why the officers were so desperate for the man's ID, even after the man explained the law to them. Note that the officers had absolutely no reasonable articulable suspicion to detain the man, but continued to do so by making up laws spontaneously.
Yep, give me your ID first.
And if I don't give you ID, I'll go to jail.
Yes.
Even though I've explained to you that I'm engaged in constitutionally protected
I don't
activity.
care if you explain it to me or not.
Safeguarded by the First Amendment. It's
Okay.
freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and freedom of assembly on a traditional public forum, the steps of City Hall.
Correct.
I'm not begging for
You got
money.
your ID?
I'm not begging for money.
Okay, you got your ID.
Do I need to show you my ID?
You need to show me your ID. Yes, sir.
Or what?
You're going to jail.
Well, you guys, I tell you, man. I'm going to put you on notice before I show you my ID and before you do all this.
No, you're going to show me your ID right now.
The man was left with no choice but to hand his ID over to the sergeant. Even after this, the sergeant continued to show disdain to him and stated that he could go back to his city if he had an issue with Mississippi's laws, adding that nobody has freedom here and they must do what they're told. Of course, all of this was false. The sergeant was on a severe power trip and did anything he could to justify his unlawful actions.
You can do whatever you wish after that.
You guys are,
Okay, that's your opinion.
you guys really are a bag of hammers.
Okay, that's perfectly
Let
fine.
me get back up here. I'm trying to leave.
George 600-433-700081.
Is my ID going to tell you if I'm committing a crime or not?
433-700081.
What
Doesn't
is-
matter if you commit a crime or not. You have to identify in reference to a complaint because you're violating.
You know, you need to have reasonable articulable suspicion that a crime is afoot. You
Okay,
didn't-
I do have reasonable suspicion. I just instructed you. So,
Vagrancy?
yeah.
What ordinance is that?
City ordinance. Go
Even
to-
though I've explained to you that I'm
You
engaged
don't
in
need to-
constitutionally
you
protected.
don't need to explain anything to me because I literally don't care. I'm
Wow.
out here in reference to a complaint
All right.
by the mayor of this city.
By the mayor.
By the mayor of this city.
Okay.
If you have any complaints, you can send me an email, call him later on.
You know what? At this point, I'm going to remain silent because this is obviously, you guys.
This isn't some free will state, man. This is how it is in the state of Mississippi.
So you don't have freedom in the state of Mississippi?
If you don't like it, you can go back to Florida. Period.
All right, well, let me have my ID and I'll go back to Florida.
I'll give you ID once it comes back.
I don't want to go to jail. And you're a veteran.
I'm I'm a veteran, yes.
What did you serve?
Huh?
Where did you serve?
That's none of your business.
All right. Did you take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution when you served?
I absolutely did.
Yeah, and you're not doing that right now.
Okay, that's your
Did you
opinion.
take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution when
that
you
is your opinion.
became a cop?
That is your opinion.
Then you're not doing it right now.
That's your opinion.
You guys have a supervisor?
I'm the supervisor.
Finally, dispatch responded to the sergeant's request for running the man's ID through the system. The man had a clean record with no warrants whatsoever. After this, the sergeant returned the man his ID and went on to order him not to come back on the public property.
I better start recording this.
You can start recording. We've been recording the whole time since we made contact.
Told you I'm not panhandling. I'm just coming out saying God bless the homeless veteran on this public sidewalk at the steps of City Hall. You don't care. I'm going to jail.
I just say you was going to jail.
You never said I was going to jail? Oh boy, I wish I was recording before. You guys said you're recording?
Yep.
Can you get body camera videos in the state of Mississippi through a public record request?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Central Wave 14.
Go ahead.
10-4, that's 27's going to come back to a Marcus Jeffrey, valid, -29s, -4s.
Don't. All right, Mr. Jeffrey, you're free to go.
Pretty good. Can I stay?
No, you cannot stay. You got to go.
So I'm going to jail.
All right. You get a lawful order and not come back. Have a good evening.
This incident just shows how easily officers can violate your rights and get away with it. Public property means that it's open to the public in any circumstance. So, ordering a man to step off public property is ridiculous. Next, we have an encounter that crosses the limits of police misconduct. Officers were called to a property where it was reported that a female subject was feeding cats. Now, right off the bat, it appears as if something's not right. Obviously, feeding cats is not illegal, so one would wonder why the officers responded to the scene anyway. But watch as this encounter unfolds and becomes truly outrageous.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. All right. What question? What are you doing?
Trying to trap some cats.
Okay. All right. We got a call that somebody was out here feeding the cats and stuff like that. So.
I'm trying to trap them.
Okay. You have your driver's license with you, man? Where do you take them once you trap them?
Okay. Wait a minute. I got 3. Y'all have 3 cop cars because I'm feeding cats.
No, we always do this. It's
That's
fine.
unbelievable.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, give me just a second, Miss Alpha.
Okay.
As seen in the footage, the lady was there to simply feed the cats and bring them out of the property. The reason why she was doing this becomes clear later on. But regardless of that, the officers had no reason to ID her, as there was no suspicion of a crime. After running the lady's information through the system, the officers returned to her vehicle and told her that she was now being trespassed. The lady replied by stating that she was on public property. However, the officers continued to claim that she was not allowed to be there and added that the cats were a nuisance. But the lady claimed that she was in fact helping by feeding the cats and taking them out of the property.
You're formally trespassed from this area right here, so if you come back and we catch you out here, you go to jail for criminal trespass third. No, ma'am.
This is public property.
City
Public
property.
This is
and
city
there's
property.
No, it's public,
Yes, ma'am.
which makes it public property.
Yeah, and the city does not want anybody feeding the animals around here because they're becoming a nuisance.
I'm trying to help that nuisance by catching them. I mean,
Okay.
they should be thanking me. I've got a trap set right there trying to help catch them and get them out of here.
Okay.
We have an animal control officer that's certified for that.
I know that, and Terrence knows that I try to help him catch them.
Okay.
We're telling you no.
Okay, the trespass stands. Just don't be around here trapping them anymore, okay? All right, you have a good one.
At this point, the officers made it clear that the lady was not allowed back on the public property, which made no sense at all. Then, A few minutes later, the officers approached the lady once more when they noticed that she was still parked on the property. Accompanying the lady was her mother, an elderly woman who also got ID'd by the officers, who then threatened to arrest them both. It's to be noted that the officers completely disregarded the need to de-escalate the situation and simply wanted to make things worse for both ladies.
Well, ma'am, we told you to leave this area. Well,
1428 returns to Beverly
you need to leave now.
Robert,
We're teetering on going to jail.
2006 Toyota Camry, gray in color, current 29 negative.
I'm teetering on going to jail for feeding cats.
Well, for trespassing, we told you to leave and you haven't left. I could take you to jail now. I'm not trying to do that. Ma'am, do you have your driver's license with you?
Yeah. I mean, we're trying to do a good
Thank you,
thing.
ma'am.
I don't
Not
understand.
39.
We're trying to help, but we're not trying to.
Negative 10 You want to handle her? I mean, she's still not leaving. If you want to take her to jail too, go for it. All right, Ms. Roberts. Okay. Apparently, they've had an issue with you out here before with the cats.
Not here.
Feeding the cats out here, right?
Well, I feed them. We've been trying to trap them, and we get them neutered, and then get them homes.
Okay.
So we're trying to do the city a favor.
Okay. Well, the city has asked you multiple times.
The city?
Yes, ma'am. Not to do this.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and they have trespassed you. Okay, and now you're trespassing.
I'm
Okay.
sitting in my car. I'm not. I
Well, you're on
haven't
the ma'am, you're on the property. You've got cat food. Okay, it's pretty. I mean, all in the back seat is pretty. It's pretty clear what your intent is. Okay.
Uh-huh.
The officer claimed that the lady's mother was also trespassing on the property by alleging that she was already warned by the city numerous times before. This appeared not to be true, as she was clearly unaware of what the officers were talking about. She was there to simply feed the cats and remove them from the property so she could find a home for them. What happened next was truly outrageous. When it appeared as if the ladies were not going to leave, the officers first asked the lady's mother to step out of her vehicle to place her under arrest for trespassing. Amidst this, her daughter was then told that she'd be getting arrested too, since she also refused to leave the public property. Essentially, what's happening here is that two ladies doing good for the animals are being arrested by a bunch of cops who don't know the law and wish to abuse their power heedlessly.
All right. So, because you have been trespassed and you have returned yet again, we're gonna have to take you to jail. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Hey,
No.
you can go too.
I'm just.
No.
So I'm not allowed to talk.
No, that doesn't involve you. You've been told at least 25 minutes ago that you were trespassing here.
I will call a lawyer. All right.
Yes, ma'am. That's fine. You can call. You can call a lawyer as soon as you get to the jail. Okay.
Go ahead and get in your car.
Yes, ma'am.
Go ahead and get in your car. Go ahead and get in your car.
Ma'am, go to your car before you get arrested.
I guess you want it to.
No, I just wanted to say something.
Okay, get in your car.
Go ahead and get in your car.
Get in your car. All right, Miss Roberts. I'm gonna have to get you to step out. Okay.
I'd be trespassing if I did.
Well, ma'am, you're already trespassing.
You all are unbelievable. This is what you're wasting city gas on.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Step up here for me. Okay.
Now, wait a minute.
I'm not gonna listen to me. I'm not, listen. Hold on. Where are you going?
I'm going to give her my car keys so she can get my car to my
Here,
house.
give it to that officer right there. He'll hand them to her.
want to say one thing
Hey.
to you.
It's gonna get ugly if you don't stop.
Can I please?
Okay. Now you just got another door.
Can I say
Congratulations.
this?
Get out. Get out. I'm tired. Get out. Get out. Get out.
Help him.
I got hurt really bad. Can I get my car off
No,
the
ma'am.
road?
You just threw those keys at my officer. You are not getting anything.
These innocent ladies were transported to the local jail, where they were fined and sentenced to 10 days in jail. They were eventually released on probation. Moving on, we have a female officer who thinks she's above the law and can arrest people for simply recording on public property. In this encounter, a man was seen recording while standing on public property when a female officer made contact with him and immediately started asking questions. Note that the man was entitled to refuse to answer any of the questions, since he was not lawfully detained.
What are you doing over here?
Videotaping
What are you videotaping?
facility.
Why are you videotaping the facility?
It's my own purposes.
So, what's going on?
I don't answer questions.
Do you have any idea, anybody?
I don't answer questions.
Okay, we got a call for a suspicious person, okay? This is kind of suspicious behavior.
Okay, what crime do you suspect me of committing?
So, alright, before we act stupid, okay? Let's just talk about when you're standing in front of a facility that's a government building. You're filming it like that. Caught the attention of the security guards, right? There might be some cause for concern for who you are and if you intend to do anybody any harm over there.
Well, I have no ill will.
Alright, well I can't take your word for it, okay?
Okay.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask you to identify yourself.
Well, do you know that we're standing in a public property,
That's fantastic.
and
I'm the
unless you're,
police, okay?
I understand.
I'm investigating something right now.
Okay,
I'm
so am I.
on service, okay?
So am I.
What are you investigating?
I'm a private investigative journalist gathering content for a story. And you should know that unless I'm being suspected of a crime, I don't have to provide ID.
Well, until I can determine that you are not committing a crime, I'm gonna ask you for your ID.
As seen in the footage, the female officer did not give an answer when asked about what her reasonable articulable suspicion was. She instead diverted the conversation and attempted to impose authority over the man. This shows that she had no lawful reason to detain the man in the first place. She also asked for the man's ID, but he immediately refused to provide it, and when asked what her name and badge number were, she claimed that she didn't need to tell him who she was, since he didn't provide his ID first. This is certainly not how things work. Officers are required to identify themselves when asked, regardless of the situation.
Well, I think I'm gonna have to decline to that, ma'am. Do you have a what's your name and badge number?
You can decline. It's on my chest.
What's your name? I don't see your name in your chest.
Well, you haven't identified yourself to me either. So
I don't have to, ma'am. You're a government official. You're entitled to identify yourself.
Fantastic. What
What's
I'm
your
gonna
name
do
and badge
is,
number?
If you do not identify yourself to me,
Yes?
we continue to do this.
Yes.
You tie me up,
Yes.
okay? Let's not make a bigger thing than we have to.
It's not. I'm just doing a lawfully protected.
Can you identify yourself as a journalist then?
I don't have to, ma'am. This is the United States of America. No, I don't,
I
ma'am.
think you need to review the laws.
Maybe you need to review the laws.
Nope.
At this point, backup arrived on the scene, and this apparently gave the female officer the right to suddenly act more hostile and disregard the law even further. Note how her demeanor suddenly changes into a more aggressive one as soon as the additional officers show up. She then refused to call her supervisor when asked to do so, and threatened to charge the man with obstruction of justice because he refused to identify himself and didn't explain what he was doing. But the thing is, he was lawfully not obligated to do any of that. He could have simply walked away at any moment without violating any laws.
Maybe you need to review the laws, ma'am.
Okay. What's gonna
Do you have a
happen is-
supervisor?
What's going to happen is you're going to identify yourself. If you choose not to identify yourself, because now I've asked you about 4 times already,
Not gonna happen.
then this is going to rise to the level of obstruction of justice because I have to figure out
What
which
crime?
one it is.
What crime do you
You
suspect
won't tell
me?
me what you're doing here.
I already
Your
told you,
behavior
ma'am.
is highly suspicious.
I already told you,
There's
ma'am.
No, you're not explaining
Can I speak to your
anything.
supervisor?
And if you simply identify yourself
Well, ma'am,
and explain what's going on here, then we don't have an issue.
I already
but I'm
told
gonna
you.
start to get aggravated
Well-
if you take up more of my time today. Do you understand?
well, ma'am,
Okay?
you're taking time for yourself. I'm a public citizen. I'm on a public sidewalk, recording a public building. Unless you're suspecting me of committing any crimes, then I suggest for you to treat me. Ma'am, don't put your hands on me. Ma'am, don't put your hands on me.
What we've just witnessed is a female officer who only wanted to harass a man standing on public property while exercising his constitutional rights. She can be seen trying to physically restrain the man in an attempt to place him in handcuffs. Unfortunately, the footage cuts off here, and the man was subsequently arrested for obstruction of justice. Luckily, after an investigation, the female officer was suspended for 8 weeks without pay. Be sure to check out our previous video, where we run through many other outrageous cases.